You wake up, the room is quiet, light slips through the blinds, your phone buzzes, you reach for it, out of habit, messages, notifications, nothing important, but you scroll anyway. You don't know what you're looking for. You just know something feels off. Not terrible, not dramatic, just off. You sit there for a minute, not sad, not anxious, not exactly tired, but definitely not excited. You're breathing, you're functioning, but it doesn't feel like you're really here. Everything in your life looks okay. You have a job, you pay your bills, you smile, you talk, you laugh at the right moments. From the outside, you look like someone who has it together. But on the inside, there's a quiet emptiness, a blank space you can't name. You try to shake it off. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe you just need coffee, or music, or a walk. So you keep going. You get dressed. You show up. You work. You chat. You play your part. You keep the routine alive. But deep inside, something feels disconnected. You're moving, but you're not really going anywhere. You're doing things, but none of them feel like they matter. You tell yourself to be grateful. You know others have it worse. You have comfort, stability, options, but the emptiness doesn't care. Gratitude doesn't cure numbness. You try to talk yourself out of it. You say, maybe it's just a phase, maybe you're overthinking, but it keeps returning. At night, in the morning, in between tasks. It's quiet, but it's there. You scroll through social media. Everyone seems happy, productive, confident. You smile at their updates. You type congrats and so proud of you, but your chest feels heavier. You compare your insides to their outsides, and you start wondering, what's wrong with me? But maybe that's not the right question. Maybe the better question is, what happened to me? What happened to the version of you that felt alive, that looked forward to something, that got excited over little things, that laughed with their whole body? That version feels far away now, like a memory you're not sure you lived. You try to recreate it, you watch old videos, you revisit old hobbies. But something's missing. It's like pressing play, but not feeling the music anymore. You start to realize it's not one big thing. It's 1,000 little ones. The skipped dreams, the silenced emotions, the choices made to fit in, the fear of being too much or not enough. You've been performing for so long that you forgot who you were before the act began. You've been chasing the version of success someone else defined. You've been surviving a life that looks fine, but feels empty. This isn't depression. It's not burnout. It's not even boredom. It's deeper. It's the absence of meaning, the fading of color, the dull ache of going through the motions without feeling anything inside. You keep yourself busy so you don't have to feel it. You plan, you work, you scroll, you joke, you sleep, you repeat. But when it's quiet, the emptiness returns. And that's when you realize you're not running from pain. You're running from stillness, because stillness forces you to feel. And feeling is scary. Feeling means facing the truth, and truth is uncomfortable. But the truth is this: you don't need more things. You don't need more likes. You don't need more noise. You need to remember who you are beneath it all. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are simply disconnected. Disconnected from your purpose, from your passion, from your sense of self. And maybe, just maybe, this emptiness is not a curse. Maybe it's a signal. Maybe it's your soul trying to get your attention. Maybe it's time to stop running, to stop pretending, to stop numbing. Maybe it's time to listen. Because when you stop avoiding the emptiness, you begin to understand it. When you sit with the silence, it starts to speak. When you stop filling the void with noise, You finally hear your own voice. And that voice is still there. It never left. It's quieter now, but it's waiting for you to slow down, to come home, to feel again. This isn't the end of you. This is the beginning. You feel this emptiness and you think it's something personal, something broken inside you. But it isn't. This feeling is not your fault. It's not a failure. It's a result of a life built on things that were never designed to fill you. Since you were young, you were taught to chase success, praise, status, numbers. You were taught that achievement brings happiness, that being good means being accepted, that keeping busy makes you worthy. You were taught to do more, get more, be more. But no one taught you how to be still, how to be whole, how to be yourself. You wake up and check your phone before you check in with your soul. You scroll through lives that aren't yours. You absorb noise before you breathe your own thoughts. Then you wonder why you feel disconnected from joy, from peace, from meaning. The world you live in is loud. It tells you what to want, what to look like, how to act. It rewards appearance over substance, speed over presence, reaction over reflection. You've been programmed to move fast but feel little, to accomplish more but connect less. No wonder you feel empty. You are surrounded by stimulation but starving for depth. You are praised for being efficient but punished for being emotional. You are seen for what you do, not who you are. This is not a personal flaw. It is a cultural one. It is the outcome of a world that measures people by their output and their image, not by their soul. So you keep producing, performing, pretending. You keep up with what's expected. You smile in pictures. You meet deadlines. You nod in meetings. But when it's quiet, the questions rise. Is this all there is? Am I actually happy? Whose life am I living? Why do I feel like a stranger in my own mind? You try to silence these questions with more distractions, more scrolling, more tasks, more noise. But they keep coming back, because deep down, you know something's not aligned. You know you've lost touch with something real. That realness is not found in your achievements, not in your title, not in your social feed. It's found in the quiet part of you that no one sees, the part that wants rest, that longs for truth, that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. But you've been away from yourself for so long that returning feels unfamiliar, maybe even uncomfortable. And yet, the longer you stay disconnected, the heavier the emptiness becomes. You don't need to do more. You don't need to fix everything. You need to pause, to listen, to remember. You need to give yourself permission to feel again, to stop running, to stop numbing, to be honest with yourself. This feeling of emptiness isn't asking you to escape. It's asking you to return. Return to the part of you that feels, that hopes, that questions, that dreams. Because under all the layers of expectations and pressure and distraction, you are still there, still alive, still all whole. You are not lost. You are buried beneath roles and routines. And now, something in you is trying to come back to the surface. This is your signal, your soul saying it's time to come home. Not to the version of you the world wants, but to the one who feels, who slows down, who breathes deeply, who lives intentionally. You don't need another app, another plan, another to-do list. You need meaning, silence, honesty, space. You need to trust that your worth isn't in what you do, but in who you are. The truth is, you feel empty because you've been living from the outside in, chasing what looks good instead of what feels true. But your soul doesn't care about what looks good. It cares about what's real, what's lasting, what connects. And now, it's asking you to stop, to notice, to return, because emptiness is not a void. It's a doorway. It opens when something inside you is ready to be seen, to be heard, to be healed. And maybe today, you're ready. There's a voice inside you that no one hears but you. It speaks in quiet moments, in pauses between meetings, in the silence after a laugh that didn't feel real. It whispers things you try to ignore, things you don't say out loud. Because if you did, you wouldn't know what to do with the truth. That voice asks questions you don't want to answer. Is this the life you wanted? Is this the person you thought you'd become? When did you stop feeling excited? When did you start going through the motions? You try to silence it with logic, with lists, with reasons. You remind yourself of all the good things. You say, I have no right to complain. But the voice doesn't care about lists. It only knows what's real. And right now, what's real is the distance between who you are and who you're pretending to be. This is the battle no one talks about. The quiet war between the version of you the world sees and the version of you that lives in the dark. The one who's tired of pretending, tired of being okay, tired of always being the one who has it together. There's a part of you that just wants to scream, I don't feel fine. I don't feel okay. I don't even feel like myself anymore. But you don't. Because you're afraid. Afraid people won't understand. Afraid you'll sound weak. Afraid you'll fall apart. So you stay silent. You keep smiling. You keep working. You keep doing what's expected. But inside, the distance grows, and the voice keeps whispering. You tell yourself it's just a phase. You say, everyone feels like this sometimes. But deep down, you know this isn't about a bad day or a stressful week. This is something deeper, something older, a slow drift away from yourself that's been happening for years. You remember moments when you used to feel alive, when you created without caring what people thought, when you spoke your truth without fear, when you laughed without planning it. Those moments feel far away now, like they belong to someone else. You wonder where that version of you went. You wonder if they're still there, buried beneath deadlines, expectations, and quiet disappointments. You want to believe they are. But most days, you're not sure. And here's the hard part. No one can fix this for you. No one can reach inside and pull you back to yourself. People can love you, support you, encourage you, but this fight is yours. It's the fight to feel again, to stop performing, to let yourself be seen, even if you're messy, even if you're uncertain, even if you're not the person you thought you'd be. There are two voices in you. One says, play it safe, keep things stable, don't risk anything. The other says, break out, speak up, feel something real again. And every day, you choose which one to listen to. The first voice sounds logical. It's practical. It keeps you comfortable, but it also keeps you small. It keeps you stuck in a life that looks fine but feels empty. It keeps you afraid of change, even when staying the same is what's hurting you. The second voice is quieter, but it's powerful. It's the voice of your truth. The part of you that wants to be honest, that wants to live with purpose, that wants to wake up and feel excited, not exhausted, that wants to stop hiding and start healing. But change is scary. Honesty is uncomfortable. Feeling is hard when you've been numb for so long. That's why most people never listen to the second voice. They keep choosing comfort over growth, silence over truth, control over freedom. You have to decide which voice gets to lead your life, not once, but every day, in small choices, in quiet moments, in the thoughts you feed, in the truths you allow yourself to admit. Because the truth is this: you can't feel whole while ignoring half of who you are. You can't feel alive if you're constantly suppressing what's real. You can't build a meaningful life while abandoning the voice that actually knows what you need. The battle inside you isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of awakening. It means part of you is ready for more, ready to feel, ready to live, ready to reconnect. But to do that, you have to face the discomfort, the fear, the questions that have no easy answers. You have to sit in the quiet and let the feelings rise. You have to stop numbing, stop escaping, stop pretending. This is not easy. Healing never is. But neither is living every day feeling hollow, waking up with no passion, smiling with no joy, showing up with no energy. That's not easy either. So if you're going to struggle, let it be for something that matters. Let it be for your truth, for your freedom, for your real life, not the one you were told to live. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop running from yourself. Because the part of you that feels lost is also the part that holds the key. The part that's been buried under roles and expectations. The part that remembers how to feel alive. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not behind. You're in a battle with an old version of you that's no longer serving you. And every step you take toward honesty is a step toward coming home. So listen closely. That voice inside you, the one you've tried to ignore, isn't going away. It's growing stronger, not to torment you, but to guide you. Because maybe this time, you're ready to hear it. Maybe this time, you're ready to choose the path that leads back to yourself. He sat on the train, staring out the window as the world passed by. His name was Jacob, 32. Good job. Clean apartment, friends who texted, parents who were proud, a life that looked fine on paper. But inside, he felt like he was disappearing. Every morning, he woke up with a weight in his chest. Not heavy, just constant. The kind of weight that doesn't stop you from moving, but makes every step feel meaningless. He went to work. He replied to emails. He ate lunch at the same table. He answered the same questions. He made the same jokes. But something inside him had gone quiet. He tried to shake it off. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he needed a vacation. So he booked one. He flew to another city. He took pictures, smiled, sent them to people. But when the plane landed back home, the weight returned. Not louder, just there, waiting, one night. After a long day of pretending to be fine, Jacob sat on his couch, scrolling through highlight reels of other people's lives, weddings, promotions, laughs, beaches, and then, in the middle of the scrolling, his thumb stopped. It wasn't because of a photo, it was because of a sentence. It read, "You're not tired, you're uninspired." For some reason, it hit him differently. It felt like someone had looked straight into him and called out the truth he'd been hiding from. He put down his phone, sat in silence. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't run from it. He let the silence speak. He let the stillness breathe. And then a question rose in his mind. When did I stop feeling? Not just happiness, but anything. When did his life go from being something he lived to something he managed? He thought back. There was a time, years ago, when he used to write, not for money, not for anyone, just for himself. Stories, poems, thoughts. He had notebooks full of them, but somewhere along the line, he stopped. It didn't seem practical. It didn't make money. It didn't build his career. So he set it aside, told himself he'd come back to it later, but later never came. That night, he opened a blank page. He stared at it for a while. Then he wrote one sentence. It wasn't profound. It wasn't polished, but it was honest. And for the first time in months, he felt something. Not a rush, not a breakthrough, just something real. So he wrote another, and another. Not to post, not to impress, just to connect with himself. One page turned into two, two into 10. He began to journal again, not every day, just when he felt the weight, and every time he did. The weight got a little lighter, not because life became perfect, but because he stopped ignoring what was true. He started paying attention to what gave him energy, to what drained it, to who made him feel alive, to what made him go numb. He stopped saying yes to every plan. He started walking without headphones. He deleted one app, then another, not out of hate, but out of love, for his peace, for his space, for his presence. And slowly, the silence inside him changed. It was no longer emptiness. It became room. Room to breathe, room to feel, room to be. He wasn't chasing a big purpose. He wasn't trying to save the world. He was simply coming home to himself. One small moment at a time, one honest step at a time. And something beautiful happened. His life didn't look much different on the outside. Same job, same city, same friends. But inside, everything had shifted. He began to feel again, to care, to notice, to connect, not just with others, but with himself. And that was enough. Not perfect, but enough. Because healing doesn't always come in loud moments. Sometimes it begins with a whisper, a pause, a single sentence on a screen that makes you stop and ask yourself, what am I really feeling? Sometimes all it takes is one real moment to begin the return. So how do you begin again? How do you rebuild a life that feels real, not just impressive? How do you come back to yourself when you've spent years running? You start small, always small. You start by listening, not to the world, but to yourself, not to the noise, but to the quiet. That quiet is where your soul speaks. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You don't need a master plan or a perfect morning routine. You just need one thing: honesty. The kind of honesty that makes you pause mid-scroll and admit, this isn't what I need right now. The kind that makes you say no when your body wants rest, not more. You start by reclaiming your mornings, not for productivity, but for peace. 5 minutes without a screen. 5 minutes to sit with your own breath. No goals, no pressure, just presence. Then you reclaim your attention. Every time you reach for distraction, ask yourself, what am I trying to avoid? That question can change everything. Not to judge yourself, but to notice, to become aware. You reclaim your space, the people you let in, the content you consume, the conversations you engage in. Ask yourself, does this fill me or drain me? Keep what nourishes, release what numbs. You reclaim your energy, not just physical energy, but emotional bandwidth. Learn to protect your peace like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Peace is what gives you clarity. Without it, everything feels heavier. You rebuild your relationship with silence. Most people fear silence because they've only ever filled it with judgment. But silence, when welcomed, becomes healing. It becomes space, space for truth, space for softness. Start journaling, not for performance, but for release. Write what you don't say, what you don't post, what you really feel. Let the page hold it all. It won't judge. It won't interrupt. It will receive. Create something, anything, not to go viral, not to make money, just to reconnect. A line of poetry, a short paragraph, a voice note to yourself. Let it be messy. Let it be yours. Move your body, not to punish it, but to thank it. A walk without a destination, a stretch in the morning light. Movement reconnects you to the present moment, to breathe, to being alive. Have one honest conversation with a friend, a sibling, yourself. Say something real. I feel disconnected. I don't know what I want. I miss feeling like me. Honesty breaks isolation. It creates space for others to be real too. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel less, not out of hate, but out of care. You are not a product. You are a person, and your soul deserves a softer feed. Make time for what brings you back to life. Music that moves you, books that make you think, nature that reminds you how to breathe. Not everything that heals you has to be logical. Some of it just has to feel true. Learn to rest deeply, without guilt. Rest isn't earned, it's essential. Rest isn't weakness, it's what makes strength sustainable. You are not a machine. You don't have to justify your existence with output. Set boundaries with love. Say no with clarity. Say yes with intention. Protect your time like your future depends on it, because it does. Track what drains you, not for blame, but for awareness. What conversations leave you hollow? What habits leave you numb? What environments make you shrink? Your feelings are data. Use them. And most importantly, remember, this isn't about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about becoming a truer version, one that feels, one that lives with depth, one that doesn't apologize for wanting more than surface-level existence. You won't get it right every day. Some days you'll fall back into old patterns. That's okay. Growth is not a straight line. What matters is that you keep choosing presence over autopilot, honesty over performance, connection over distraction. Healing doesn't look like constant joy, it looks like facing the truth, letting go of what isn't you, allowing what's real to stay. It's a messy, human, beautiful process. And you're already in it. There is no final destination where everything feels perfect. But there is a place where you feel grounded, clear, whole. A place where you don't wake up with a weight you can't name. A place where life feels like yours again. That place isn't far. It starts with a choice. A small, quiet choice to show up differently, to stop waiting for things to change, to stop waiting for permission, to stop waiting to feel ready. You are ready, not because you know all the steps, but because you're willing to take the first one. You've already begun. You won't feel empty forever. This is not your ending. This is the middle. This is the space between who you were and who you're becoming. This is the part where things shift. Quietly, slowly, deeply. The fact that you're here, listening, thinking, feeling again, means something is already changing. The weight may not be gone, but you're no longer ignoring it. You're no longer running, and that's everything. You don't have to reinvent your whole life. You don't have to move across the world or quit your job or delete everything. You just have to begin choosing differently. One small moment at a time. Choose to be present when you normally escape. Choose to rest when you normally push. Choose to speak when you normally stay silent. Choose to feel when you normally numb. You're not late. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're awakening. You're remembering. You're coming home to yourself. And yes, it will feel strange, even uncomfortable, because you've been away for a long time. But just like coming home after a long trip, eventually the walls feel familiar again. The space feels safe. The silence feels kind. Every time you choose truth over performance, you heal. Every time you choose connection over distraction, you rebuild. Every time you choose to slow down and listen, you remember what matters. The version of you that once felt deeply, dreamed freely, laughed loudly. That version never left. They've been waiting, not for the perfect moment, but for your permission. You don't need to prove anything to return to yourself. You don't need to earn rest, or joy, or stillness. You were born worthy of them all. The world may never slow down. It may keep pushing, performing, distracting, but you can choose something different. You can choose a deeper life, a quieter one, a real one, and when you do, you'll start to notice the things you missed, the sound of wind through the trees, the way your breath moves, the softness in your own eyes, the way a simple meal tastes when you're actually there for it. You'll notice your own thoughts, your own voice, not the loud one filled with pressure and judgment, but the gentle one that says, "You're doing just fine." You'll start to feel again, not all at once, but enough to keep going, enough to stay open, enough to begin again. This is your rise, not the kind with applause and spotlight, but the quiet kind, the kind that happens inside, the kind that's invisible to the world, but undeniable to you. It's the moment when you stop surviving and start living, when you stop chasing and start choosing, when you stop escaping and start returning. You may not feel ready, but you don't need to. You just need to begin. And here's the beautiful thing. You already have. You've opened your eyes to the truth. You've listened to the silence. You've felt the ache and stayed with it. And now, a new chapter begins. Not the one where everything is perfect, but the one where everything is real. You don't have to do it alone. There are others on this path too. Quietly choosing presence, quietly returning, quietly rising. Let your life be the kind that feels true to you. Let your days be filled with things that actually matter. Let your inner world be your foundation, not your escape. You've spent enough time away from yourself. Now it's time to come home. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now, right here, as you are. You are not empty. You were just waiting. And now, you're ready to rise.